Hello, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one. I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And welcome to the From the Closet podcast. Today we are covering Kubo and the Two Strings for as our free movie of the month for April 2023. You can join us tomorrow for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and next week for Spider-Man 3 and Amphibious Season 3.
Wow.
Um, If you would like to avoid spoilers for Kubo and the Two Strings, you will find a link in the description below to the Just Watch page for this movie. That page will have links to all the places you can rent, purchase, or stream this movie. Currently, for us here in the US, it is free on Tubi.
You can watch
Our
it
link is to the
free
US.
right now.
Yeah. Our link is to the US
This is
version
not
of
a
the site.
request.
However, if Shut up. Okay, our link is to the US version of the site. However, if you use the Just Watch app, it will automatically redirect you to your country's page, and you can change the country from the website page itself. Also in the description is a link to our Patreon where you can vote on future episodes of this show as well as get access to episodes before they release, as well as early access to episodes of our sister show Off the Shelf, which is about books. That podcast is exclusive to YouTube and Patreon. Episode 2 is now available on Patreon. It's not at the time of recording
Oh,
this, but it will be. It's not at the time of recording this, but it will be by the time this releases. So,
I was weirded out because
yeah.
you did not tell me that there was another episode that I needed to upload.
Yeah, well, it's not even, like, in the thing yet, but
Okay,
it will be before this episode releases. So, yeah. Um,
I guess I'll make sure to
also,
send that out.
Yeah. Also in the description is a link to Anchor.fm, which itself has links to every platform this podcast is on, as well as links to our Instagram and Twitter, where you can be notified when we release a new episode. Um, if you are listening to this on Spotify, please rate it. It really helps the podcast, and we kind of really need it right now.
Yeah,
I
not
don't
going to
like,
specifics, but just yeah.
yeah, like I don't like asking for things like this. Like, long-term
Can you?
listeners will know this is the first time I've ever asked for that. I think.
Yeah. Also, can you actually rate things on Spotify? I never actually tried that.
You can definitely rate podcasts for sure.
Huh. I definitely know you can rate it on Apple Music if you're listening on Apple Music. I'm not laughing that you're listening on Apple Music, I promise. I just never. I mean, actually, some people are watching on their Amazon Alexa, so I don't judge. There's just, I mean, I had the ability to so that you can watch on your Amazon Alexa. Yeah, I guess I should have be expected that some people will take that opportunity.
But yeah, with all that being said, if you'd like to avoid spoilers, please get out of here because we're going to start talking about the movie now.
I don't
Okay,
know,
so
how much more there is to say that I haven't said to you before, but obviously audience now, so this movie is fucking gorgeous. Like very stylized, very just how do you do that?
yeah, I found myself questioning a lot in the movie how they were able to pull certain things off with stop motion. And there is some behind the scenes stuff in the credits, just none of what I was wondering. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool to see that, but I already assumed that that was how you did it in the first place.
The paper folding, that was I think that was my favorite part of the movie. Just watching the
Yeah,
paper form in midair.
see, like the paper folding and stuff, that was one of the things I was curious about. I was also very curious about facial expressions, like how on earth do they get that to work as well as lip movement? And like, I don't know, like that just seems like it would take a lot of work and a lot of time. Like I had
Like it
mentioned
feels
to
like
you
I was
before we started.
watching. I feels like I was watching a computer animated film at some points in this movie.
Like I had mentioned to you before we started recording, I see a lot of people complain that there aren't enough stop motion animated movies, and then they don't go watch them.
I have
So, like,
nothing but respect for people who can pull off stop motion animation.
like, to the people complaining this and not going to see the movies when they come out, y'all realize that, like, these take a lot of time, a lot more than just about any other type of movie. And by not going to see them when they come out, it de-incentivizes studios from making them.
Studio Leica, I believe. Last when we covered sorry,
Coraline.
Coraline, we discovered that this place, the company was founded in Oregon. Spoiler, I'm also from Oregon, and I'm just, God, I would love to go see, like, I would love to go see their headquarters, because that'd just be so cool.
You know, it's funny, like, I don't know how to phrase this, but like I saw a thing on a video where like there was an Ask Reddit question about name something your state is known for without like saying the name of your state. And some guy was from Oregon and he was like, "Oh, something about a trail and dying of dysentery."
Yeah, that is what yeah, that is what our state is known for. But hey, at least it's a playable game that you can, find on the browser store on for free. The browser store? No, just browser.
Oregon Trail is on practically fucking everything. There's even a 3DS version.
I was, God, how do you know that's what I was thinking about?
There's also a DSiWare version.
Why DSi?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Pretty sure there's also a DOS version. So like
Oh God. Yeah. This stop motion animation as a medium obviously it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and just makes an experience while you're watching like nothing ever before. Because it's a perfect mix of like animation elements and also real life elements as well.
you know, one of the reasons I think there aren't a lot of stop motion animated movies today is because they're like it's not just because of the fact that they take a long time to make. Um but also the fact that there were so many like stop motion Christmas movies pushed out in like I want to say 80s 90s
Mhm.
and a lot of them were just they were either bad or mediocre.
But a lot of kids would probably defend those movies with their life because they saw them when, like, a lot of people saw them when they were kids.
I saw them when I was a kid. They weren't that good.
I think
And
like
honestly,
really
I think
young kid.
I think um I think the reputation stop motion got because of those movies, it stuck with it through to now.
Oh, I wonder if like is make like
And
was like if they're releasing a new movie soon. I hope they're not dead.
well, I mean, I could find out.
I'm finding out right now, Avery.
No, I am. Wait, that's a space dog. Apparently, there is a Leica space dog. So
Our
that's a new one.
films. God, what's this movie? It'd be funny if we watched all of their like Leica's movies.
Okay, so they do have upcoming movies, but none of them have release dates. They're all just to be announced. Their last movie that they released was in 2019, and
Missing Link, yeah.
yeah, that's about it. Like, there's not really much that I can say here. Like, sure, this has been. It seems like this has been the longest since it's been the longest between any of their films, but then at the same time you do have to consider the fact that none of their other films had a pandemic in between them. So
Oh right. Kubo and the Two Strings didn't perform the best. They got the best ratings. That's what I was remembering. Yeah, that's what I was remembering. Yeah, no, they actually
oh yeah.
performed the least in box office. But hey, at least they got them good
No,
ratings.
it looks like Missing Link performed the least in box
Oh,
office.
yes, it really did. Holy shit.
And
That's
my
a major
assumption was
yikes.
right. My assumption was right that Coraline was like their most profitable movie. Um, because that made 124 million.
I hope like they're actually still making movies because after Missing Link, I mean you can see the budget versus box office growth. Not
I'm
good.
sorry, they're making a live action movie.
What?
Yeah, there's a movie called 17 listed in their upcoming movies, and it says live action film.
How could they do this to me?
But yeah, so I had also made the comment that this movie's story, it feels like a story I would see out of Pixar, because almost all of Pixar movies have something to do with memory, remembering those that came before you, or just remembering what came before you. Because, like in the case of Wall-E, it's not specifically people that came before; it's the entire Earth. And
Yeah,
like,
Wally's just
you
built
know,
different.
it's like it's a theme that permeates like every Pixar franchise except A Bug's Life, I guess, because that's really the only one I can think of where memory is kind of weird. Like there's no memory connection at all. Like Toy Story, the toys are all afraid of being forgotten. Jessie's been through it herself, and so she's especially terrified of being forgotten. Monsters Inc. you kind of have to use the Pixar theory for, but like the whole thing with Monsters Inc. is that they are like the whole thing with Monsters Inc. is that they are harvesting memories in the Pixar theory to fuel their cities. Um, and then like Inside Out, of course, that's all about memories in general. In Up, Carl refuses to let Ellie's memory die. The Finding Nemo franchise, literally the entire character of Dory, like shows us how awful forgetting can be. Coco is also very clearly all about memory. Um,
Memory of the Dead,
Soul,
more specifically.
yeah, like Soul. In Soul, Joe is very concerned about what he'll be remembered for when he's gone. Um, Turning Red is all about like honoring your ancestors in the first place, and like the whole plot of the movie revolves around a a thing that happened ages and ages earlier. Um, like all of this together, like even Brave, like there's the whole thing with like Merida's mom and like the concern that she will just completely forget her old life. Like literally every Pixar franchise except for A Bug's Life for some reason, you can find some connection to memory. And
Hey, Avery,
this
Avery,
movie is also.
I think you missed Inside Out. Why didn't you make an example for Inside Out, Avery? Avery, you missed
I
Inside
already
Out.
said Inside Out. I said
Ah,
Inside
shit.
Out was literally all about memory.
Damn. That was one movie I was looking out for, and I missed it. And yet I
Like
also heard
even
everything else that you
Cars,
said.
even Cars to some extent. Um, the thing with Cars though is that like a lot of the characters like completely scoff at legacy and stuff, but at the same time, like Doc Hudson is trying to make people forget who he was.
I guess
At least
it's
in the first movie.
yeah.
But the
It's
thing,
the op that Cars is anti Pixar. Instead of wanting to keep memory and have memories alive, they want to just forget memory.
and then there's Onward, where like one of the like I can't remember which brother is which, but one of the brothers is like he has memories of his father and like wants to be able to say goodbye, and the other brother is motivated by like wanting to gain new memories, like any memories at all of his father.
Hmm.
And even Incredibles, like Bob Parr, he's like worried that if people forget the old ways, then like what he considers to be his true self, Mr. Incredible, will truly die. Like it's in every movie except for A Bug's Life.
But why is The Bug's Life truly the exception of Pixar movies?
I have no idea. It's so weird.
Because it's just a Bug's Life. That we should start using that as an expression. Like, you're fitting out from the norm. You're just a Bug's Life.
Yeah. I mean, at least A Bug's Life didn't have any inconsistencies with what animals could talk, because that's still weirdly consistent with A Bug's Life, despite the fact that the movie doesn't have a memory connection at all.
Hmm, who knows?
I guess I guess I also can't particularly think of. Well, I was gonna say I can't think of anything with Luca, um, but then I remembered like the character of what was his name, Alfonso.
Yeah,
I
wasn't
want to
he
say that
like
was his
the big
name.
asshole?
No, that was Erica or something.
Oh, no, yeah,
I'm
that
talking
guy.
about I'm talking about the other boy, the one whose father left him, and like how the
Oh,
memory of
right,
that is
yeah.
like still affecting him today. Like,
Yeah, I remember.
yeah, so like this movie very much feels like the script was written by Pixar. Doesn't seem likely. Just gonna be flat out honest, but like it feels like it would fit right in with the rest of the Pixar lineup. Never mind how you'd make it fit in the Pixar theory. I don't even know. But then
Oh,
again, I don't even know
God,
how they're
that'd
gonna
be
handle
too
Elemental.
complicated for me.
Yeah, I'm not even. I don't even know how they're gonna handle Elemental when that comes out. So who
Let's
even knows
find
at this
out.
point? Yeah. Well, we will certainly have to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, um,
I guess, like,
I don't know.
going
This
back
movie,
on thing that I've avoided talking about is the plot is a little bit predictable and also a little bit
oh yeah,
confusing the way that the way that the narrative structure.
I
You know what I
didn't
mean?
really find it confusing, but I didn't really find it confusing personally. And like this is my first time watching it, but I did absolutely find it predictable. Um, like so, like the mother mentions, "Oh, you must never be outside, like in the dark," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, so that's gonna happen." And then like we see this like monkey and like she's talking and stuff, and I'm like, "Okay, that's the mom." We meet this beetle. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's the father." they're collecting these armor pieces, and one of them's a sword. I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna lose that in the final battle.
Okay, how do you get that?
And then, I mean, I just saw it coming. Like, it could, like, the sword can very, very easily just be knocked out of his hand.
Okay, but you could also just grab it as well. Is things being knocked out of hands that big of a trope?
Yes, you'd be surprised how many fictional characters end up losing their swords because they just get knocked out of their hand.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, like, for this sort of movie, because the sword is not his main power. It's not like I get double the strength when I wield a sword. No, his power is his wielding paper and
And then, like,
a really
also,
good
like,
instrument.
also the initial sword being fake was totally predictable too. Um,
I mean, not like they. I mean, it was a reveal that in the next 5 minutes, you know.
More like the next 5 seconds, but yeah, like
Yeah.
it was, it was predictable enough that they like literally called it out in the movie itself. So who's really surprised?
I kind of the story was predictable, but I like how they executed a lot of their elements. Would you agree on
I
that?
didn't see, yeah, like something I didn't quite see coming was like how they were going to end up crossing that big river. Like I totally was not expecting Kubo to just make a boat.
Out of leaves, no less.
Yeah, like for one, that shouldn't work. Uh,
Avery,
but
using an instrument to move leaves to make a boat shouldn't work.
I mean,
It's magic.
it
Don't
this
tell me
whole
I'll break out
movie
a
is
song.
like, yeah, this whole movie is just like it's something. And speaking of song, like there's a cover of the Beatles song "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" in the credits. So
That's oddly fitting.
I mean, that's something, I guess. Like I don't know. Like this movie, I feel like the high rating from Rotten Tomatoes is really weird. Because like this movie is good, but I don't think it's that good.
I saw the high rating. It's like, I'm actually a bit glad that it got such a high rating. Hopefully, I mean, their last movie kind of did flop in a lot of ways, but I really do hope that they still make stop motion animation movies because I mean, if they don't, who the hell is?
Maybe your mom will start.
Doubt.
But yeah, like I don't know, like because I mean Disney did it like Disney did The Nightmare Before Christmas, but when was the last time you saw a stop motion Disney movie? I'm willing to bet it was The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, and Disney not even claiming that either. It's not Disney's Nightmare Before Christmas. It's Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
And like I don't know. The thing is like I don't really see I don't really see Leica pulling in like huge numbers. Like they haven't gotten anywhere near as much money from any of their movies as they have from their first movie. And
Yeah,
that's got to be demoralizing.
especially with their latest movie just being a complete disaster. I mean, you saw the numbers. They
Yeah.
spent way more money than they actually got.
I didn't quite see like I saw the number like of the gross, but I wasn't paying attention to see how much they spent.
100 million versus 20.
Well, I think that it said like 26 million, but
Yeah,
yeah,
same. I don't
but
think that 6 million is helping that big blow there.
but yeah, like The Nightmare Before Christmas, just for comparison, that movie had a budget of 24 million and it made 91 million. Leica's first movie, Coraline, I kind of want to look that one up real quick just to see, just to give like a comparison here. Because like
I can
I
look.
do
Like I
believe
have it right here. 60 million versus 124 million. Budget,
yeah.
box office, gross, respectively.
So like they they basically made 200+% of their money back on that movie. That's roughly what that amounts to. Whereas with this movie, they didn't make anywhere near. I don't
I wonder
even
if they
think they
got any
got the budget
awards
on
for
this
this movie.
movie. Who knows?
I'm looking it up. I'm sorry, video games. Kubo: A Samurai
I mean, I
Quest
know.
was released for iOS and Android.
Oh, yeah. We don't talk about that.
I don't know. I might play
If
it
your
one
only
day.
game if your only game is available on mobile platforms, it's probably not very good.
Hmm. I still want to check it out. Just why not?
Also, this movie released in 2016, so like it had some pretty steep competition for awards.
What
Like,
else released in 2016?
it,
I just forgot.
well, there was Inside Out and A
That was
Silent
something.
Voice. Like
Oh, right.
honestly, just
Yeah,
between the
and
two of
Boss
those,
Baby.
ew.
That got award, unlike Silent Voice. Or at least the animation
Yeah,
award, I
but
believe.
yeah, but let's be real here. That's just because the Oscars don't respect like Japanese movies at
Animation, yeah.
all.
Or
Well,
animation.
like even when they do pay attention to animation, it's always American animation and it's always Disney or DreamWorks. Any Japanese movie rarely ever gets nominated for anything.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. I've always seen the Oscars as more of a American thing anyway, instead of like an entire world, like world movies.
Although although to be fair, A Silent Voice did win awards in Japan.
Yeah, that's why usually you're probably gonna get more awards in the place that you released it in. More likely. I mean, that makes sense, right? I'm not like pulling this out of my ass, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, it just seems like a little weird to me that like I don't know, this movie feels like it should have at least been nominated for Best Animated Feature, but like given that the Oscars views that award as the best kids movie of the year, I don't know if I would have even wanted it to win. I don't even necessarily agree with the Inside Out winning because like calling Inside Out a kids movie is just kind of frankly it's insulting to the hard work that a lot of like Pixar creators put in. Because dealing with the concepts that Inside Out deals with isn't something children are really ready for. They can watch the movie and enjoy it, but like the movie's about depression.
I love sticking my 2-year-old movie, in front of wait, yeah, I'm rolling with it. My 2-year-old movie in front of a baby full of depression.
And then like Soul was straight up made for adults. I cannot be convinced otherwise. Like
Um, just tacking this on there. Puss in Boots, Puss in Boots 2 is also in the same vein as that as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, was that one even nominated for Best Animated? Wait,
Was it?
yeah, it
No, was
was, but
nominated. Yeah.
it was. But then I remembered, oh yeah, that's right. I remember having a discussion with you about how it's not going to win, and I don't think you should want it to either. I
I
I
still
was
want
kind of.
like Pixar to note it. Not Pixar. Yeah, no, yeah, Pixar. Notice how this movie did better than some of your other movies. But yeah, no,
I
DreamWorks.
mean,
DreamWorks goes in the direction of like this stylized fighting, the stylized, uh, like the more into the Spy-Verse animation style, leaning way more into fantasy than realistic. Oh God,
I
I would love
mean,
that.
Pixar always prefers to have their characters stylized while their worlds look realistic. I think that is a perfectly acceptable animation style. It's no less impressive than what Spider Verse was able to pull off.
Sure,
I just,
but I prefer that I prefer this than oh cool, you make a cat that looks just like a human cat.
but regardless, like I think it's certainly better than what we had like back in the day, like when the first animated feature was coming out and the human faces looked fucking horrifying.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, it still burned into my retinas.
Yeah, but I mean, with all that said, though, I don't know. Like I think like it's kind of hard to call this movie like a stylized animation because like it's not computer animated, which is what Pixar does, and like Disney's been doing that now as well. They finally got on board. Um, and then like DreamWorks is also computer animated. I don't even know if there's anyone doing hand drawn animation anymore, except I guess the Japanese. Um,
I'm sorry,
so
the way
yeah,
that you just
yeah.
said that, except the Japanese,
Okay, I did not say Japanese like that,
the
but like,
phrasing that you used, the Japanese, just
see, the thing is like, even trying to think of other movies, like this movie is stop motion. They're using real world models and like filming them to get like, well, they're not even filming them. They're taking pictures and like putting those pictures like over each other to like make it look like they're moving when they're not actually moving.
I mean, technically they are
Like
moving.
the
Just someone is moving them frame by frame. I mean,
Yeah, but
imagine
you
how
are
much work you
basically,
have to put into that. Because not just you have to make all the models, you also have to tirelessly, you know, take a picture. Okay, now go over there, move it a little bit upwards, take another picture, and just repeatedly do that until your film is done.
yeah, like I don't know. Then there's like back to what I was saying before. There's like hand drawn animation, which I really only see anymore in like anime. I can't really think of a recent hand drawn animated movie that didn't come from Japan.
Of course, yeah, hand drawn animation. That's kind of the same vein of because I mean, do you have to draw every frame of like when you're doing hand drawn? Because if you do, that would be a lot of work.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender is mostly hand drawn animation, but there are some there are some scenes where they use computer animation. The same was true for Beauty and the Beast. It had one of the first 3D animated sequences, like 3D computer animated sequences in a feature length film.
Interesting.
And that was all the way back in 1991. Of course, a few years later, in '95, Pixar would release Toy Story, and like that was the first
Blow
feature
everyone
length
away.
that was the first feature length entirely computer animated film. Computer animation really seems to be the main
Norm?
draw here. Yeah, like I don't know, like there are still other hand-drawn animated things that I've seen. They just haven't been movies. Like something in particular that I can think of is Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, as well as Tangled Before Ever After. That is hand-drawn animation. And it's someone pointed out to me earlier, it's made to look like Rapunzel's drawings because they are being told like everything that's happening is being told from Rapunzel's journals. And I
Interesting.
had not realized that. Yeah, like I had not realized that before.
I don't know if this will make me like it or not, but it's a valiant effort.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, did anyone really expect a series to be fully 3D animated just like the movie?
I mean, I didn't expect that, but I expected a bit not that, you know?
Yeah, but regardless, like it seems clear that right now computer animation is dominant. Maybe at some point stop motion will like get a massive resurgence. Just
I
not
doubt
right
it.
now. No, I don't. I think it will happen
Really?
eventually. These kinds these kinds of things are like these kinds of things cycle. Um, like for now, superhero movies are kind of going down, but they will come back up eventually. Um,
Damn it. Just,
should
I guess I had to hold out on any plans on making my own superhero franchise.
yeah, I wouldn't bother trying right now. Marvel's kind of not doing so hot lately.
Where's DC
Like even I
going?
think DC seems to be going in a upward direction, I think, from like the hype I've seen around their announced movies. And like with the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies being in charge of all of them.
Yeah. The way that you described is like, is it going upward or going downward? It's going sideways. It's going to the right.
I mean, at the very least, like it seems better than like what we've had through like I don't know, there's actually hype around these movies now and there wasn't really hype for the past several years about DC movies because they just couldn't get a handle on quality. Out of the entire DCEU, there were 3 good movies.
And how many movies were in the DCEU?
Let's just look it up, like
Oh,
because
how
I don't
fun.
know exactly.
I mean, like, give me a ballpark, like above 25, above 50.
14.
Oh, that's less than I expected.
Yeah, so the DCEU had 14 movies, and 3 of them were good.
Whoa. Good job.
Yeah, fantastic movie making there, Warner Brothers.
I mean, it's Warner Brothers.
See, the thing that makes DC disappointing is that they've made a lot of good content in the past. Like Teen Titans, Batman the Animated Series, the The Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy? I've even
I
heard a
actually have
lot of
not
people praising
seen.
Smallville. Like, I've heard a lot of people praising Smallville. I personally haven't seen it because, like, that sh- that show is 10 seasons long.
Oh, what?
And then, I don't know, like, DC, you kind of dropped the ball a lot. The Arrowverse started out really good, but, like, it kind of got this problem where they stretched the shows out for far longer than they could reasonably hold. And then they also got way too political with it.
Like, how political?
Like, to the point where Supergirl was basically more of a platform for being like girl power, feminism, rather than like telling superhero stories. Like,
Hmm. Oh,
they were just
dreadful.
kind of preachy. Yeah, like, I'm pretty liberal, but it got annoying really quickly.
I can see how that can happen.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I will give the Arrowverse some credit. Credit that I can't give to Marvel. They actually had good LGBT representation.
Hmm, that's good.
Yeah, but with all that being said, I'm gonna just go ahead and get into the critic ratings for this movie.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
IMDb gives this a 7.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 97%. Metacritic has it at 84%, and 80% of Google users like this movie.
Why does that seem a little bit low for Google users?
Eh,
Now,
I
I
think
esteemed watcher of movies. I can only give this great film something that it has to be deserved of. Let's just slap an 8.6 on that.
I think I'll give this a 7.2.
Damn.
I think it's fairly good. Nothing particularly like amazing or fantastic. Like the visuals are great, but like beyond that, what does this movie have? A decent enough story about memory, if predictable. I mean, yeah, like
Beyond the
if we're going to
predictability,
talk about like if we're going to talk about a movie being like beautifully animated, like and that being the main good thing about the movie, and then like I don't know, like by that standard, The Good Dinosaur would be a great movie.
not
So yeah, like
beautifully animated, but I mean predictable. But I also don't feel like that's like a draw away from the movie. At least when I'm watching it the second time.
yeah, I think this movie had a very decent enough plot. It was predictable. It was kind of formulaic, but it wasn't bad. Um, so that's really all I have to say about it. You can join us tomorrow for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and next week for, I believe it was Spider Man 3 and Amphibia Season 3. I don't have the schedule up anymore. It was either
Oh
Spider
right.
Man or The Matrix. One of the two.
But one
Because
more
both of
thing
those
before
are
we go,
coming
I
soon.
forgot to mention how much I love the music as well.
Yeah, there's like I had mentioned earlier. There's a cover of a Beatles song
Well, I
in
mean,
the
I meant
credits.
more of like the music that Kubo um, produces.
Yeah, but anyway, until next time, I've been Avery. That's been Lily. We will be seeing you.